So you went to the chiropractor and they said that you have a subluxation. And what does that mean? Well, imagine that a guy walks into the chiropractic office and his back is all jacked up and he's got a lightning bolt sticking out of his butt, like you see in the Yellow Pages ad. And he says, "Doc, I don't know what it is. I can't tell if it's a bone out of place or if I pinched a nerve or I got a muscle strain. So tell me which one of these things is it so I can fix it." And, first thing I would say is, having been a trash collector in Cherry Hill for 9 months in the past, I have seen a lot of things thrown out in the trash. I've never seen a backbone thrown out in the trash. People really don't throw their backs out. Their backs tend to grow out of place. So when the chiropractor does an examination and reports back to you and says you have subluxation or you're in a state of subluxation, what that means is it's bone, it's muscle, it's nerve, it's all those things and more. So let's discuss a few different definitions of subluxation. And we'll start with the medical definition, which is the most limited. In medical terminology, subluxation means a partial dislocation of a joint, period. It's not totally popped off track, but it's out of place a little bit, and I guess they figure there's no consequences of that. In chiropractic, historically, we've talked about a mechanical, physical definition of subluxation as being loss of juxtaposition of a vertebra with its neighbor above or below, to the extent that the hole the nerve comes through is closed off a little bit, and it either pinches or chafes the spinal nerve that exits through that hole to the point where it's not functioning properly and the body is going to start to break down a little bit. There's an updated version of that subluxation model called the vertebral subluxation complex. And so it's a 5-component model based on science that's been around for a long time. Over 500 scientific papers have gone into the definition of the vertebral subluxation complex, and the 5 components are this. First of all, the spine isn't moving right. It's called spinal kinesiopathology. So the spine is either stuck, can't move when it's supposed to, or it's hypermobile and moving too much. Either one of those gives rise to neuropathology, which means the nerve, again, is being chafed or choked or pinched in some way, and the signals aren't transporting from the brain to body or body to brain, so there's a partial disconnect that way. The third thing is that the local muscles in the spine are being abnormally functioning because of this nerve problem. So the muscles are either working too much, they're in a state of spasm or hypertonicity, or they're partially paralyzed or partially weak, and their physiology is messed up, so that within a couple of weeks there's going to be scar tissue moving into the muscles. It's not ever going away. So it's a sick muscle as well. So we've got sick movement, we've got sick nerve, we've got sick muscle. The joints of the spine, because they're not moving or moving too much, they're not feeding themselves properly, and they start to break down. They actually want to start to remodel to fit this instead of proper alignment. So there's an ongoing destructive process of healing, really. And finally, where the nerve goes, there's pathology. If the nerve isn't getting to the heart's getting sick. If the nerve energy isn't getting to the lung or the stomach, then those organs are getting sick. And so this 5-component model, there's going to be a write-up about it on the blog, so you can look at those 5 components again. And it's well-documented stuff. Now, so when a chiropractor adjusts you, all those things are going to resolve, simultaneously. A more, I think, evolved way of looking at what subluxation is includes the idea that you're more than just a physical body. There's an energy field that makes your body go. So technically what subluxation could be is lack of expression of some of that life energy. Literally the word means, sub is less, lux is light. There's less light, there's less life energy processing in your body. And how that would happen is that when you encounter stress, which is anything that causes your body to change, the stress is coming at you in forms of physical, chemical, or emotional energy and information. And so if your body is not capable of processing this energy and information for growth right now, it's going to store it first in the nerve tissue, then the muscles and the bones and other tissues, organs too. It's going to store it for later retrieval. It's like the body's way of saying, I can't read all this mail right now, but I'm going to hold on to it, and when I have a little time, I'll read it and process it later. The problem is that it's a biological hazard while you're holding on to this unexpressed information. And so what a chiropractic adjustment then does is it releases the energy and information so the brain can process it, the body can learn from it, heal and grow, and you move on. So subluxation is the thing that people go to chiropractors for, whether they realize it or not. It's the one thing that chiropractors really address. It's something that no other profession is dedicated to addressing. It's a unique thing and everybody has it. You'd be better off without it. That's subluxation.